I don't think that the auction is the problem. I think it's the way that agents conduct auctions which is a problem. The auction process is a very public process. A lot of agents feel embarrassed if it doesn't sell under the hammer, where I don't care about that. For me, it's not about me looking good on auction day. For me, it's about getting the highest possible price for my sellers. Sometimes auction's the way to go, and sometimes it's not. It gets down to really what's the goal? What is it that you're wanting to achieve? Are you wanting to sell the property, or are you wanting to sell the property at the highest possible price? Let me walk you through the process. Agents want listings. That's just the way it works. If you're doing an appraisal, what the sellers want to know is how much is my property worth? An auction cultured agent will duck and weave that question. Basically, what they'll do is they'll give examples of other properties that they sold at auction, and that property sold for $100,000 or $150,000 above reserve price. The seller doesn't really know that property and doesn't know really the circumstance, and it all sounds good. The very first question that buyers will ask when they're inquiring about an auction property is, what's the price guide? With the agent, what they'll do is they'll say, well, look, this property down the road, they're sold for X amount of price, that property is sold for X amount of price, and the properties that they're highlighting are properties that have gone fairly cheap. Let's say the seller wants 1.5 and the comparables that the agent's giving is at 1 million to 1.2. The message you're sending is that's roughly going to be where the price is going to be at auction. So on the day, what happens is that the property gets to a certain price, doesn't achieve any higher. The sellers are told, well, that's what the market's saying that your property is going to be worth. At the end of the day, that's it sells, and it sells at a low price. When properties sell at a low price, it affects the whole market, because then what happens is a valuer comes along and says, Mark, you've just sold this property for 1.5. The property down the road that's very comparable sold for 1.2. I'm having a real problem in valuing your property at 1.5. So low prices not only affect the seller, but they affect the whole suburb.